Golden Tate has come out, and to your Giants point, he said that he feels incredibly bad for Daniel Jones. Just listed off, like, I honestly feel bad for Daniel. Tate told New Jersey Advance Media on Wednesday, okay, of course, he was drafted into a rebuilding organization for one, had Pat Shermer for a year, and then got Joe Judge for 2 years. Now another head coach and another rebuild going into his fourth season. He hasn't had Saquon, Golden Tate, Kenny Golladay, Sterling Shepard. No one is ever on the field at the same time. And then on top of that, he had the clapper, Jason Garrett, as his offense coordinator, and that probably didn't help much. That is from inside the building. Golden Tate is now playing baseball, I believe, and he's having success at it. He was in there for a couple of years with Daniel Jones. I know this is kind of like the Sam Darnold thing, right, with the Jets almost. Have you watched the film on Daniel Jones, and do you think he is just a product, or do you think his ceiling is nowhere near as high as it should be to be a starting quarterback in the NFL?
I mean, he's talented. Obviously, you don't get drafted that high if you're not. But he's got to be in a situation like the Browns. You know, you got everything kind of built around him. He's not going to make the team around him better. He's not going to make whoever's out there on the field, and he's just going to make them better players, make the offense move, win games because of Daniel Jones. He's just not that player. He's super athletic. As he can make plays with his legs, but just his consistency, the only thing he's been consistent with is turning the ball over, unfortunately. You know, fumbling the balls, doing things like that. And as a quarterback, that's number one. Take care of the damn ball. So it's been tough on him, and he has been dealt a bad hand. But when you get drafted high as a quarterback, that's the case for a lot of players. So I can't say I feel bad for him necessarily, but this should be a good team. You got Brian Daboll coming over. You saw the jump that Josh Allen made throughout his early career with Brian Daboll as the OC. So with Daboll running things for Daniel Jones now, maybe we get the best version of Daniel Jones, or maybe Tyrod Taylor's in there. Maybe they make a move for Baker Mayfield. Who knows? But they got to do something out there in New York.
The only thing he has really been consistent at is fucking giving the ball to another team. Yikes. That is a absolute
fumbling, man. I don't think I've ever seen a quarterback fumble the ball as much as that.
And hit his over and rushing yards.
Hey, he always hits the over and rushing yards because he's scrambling, doing his thing. He has a lot of Carson Wentz in him, but a lot of people say like he was forced to because there's no offensive line, no real weapons. They're in turnover. There's a lot of excuses, right, when things don't go well for almost everybody. When did you come to the Colts? 13 or 12?
12.
So
Luck's rookie year, yeah.
So that, I think, it's going to be hard, I guess, for us to have a real judgment on a lot of things. I watched Andrew take a team that was very injured on the offensive side of the ball, brand new offense. Literally nobody knew the offense. We had turnover all over the place, and Andrew put a cape on almost and fucking carried that team as a rookie. And it was like, oh, this is a guy. And then some people are like that. Some people aren't. Some people take some time to develop into that. What did they say? Peyton didn't win a playoff game for 6 years or something like that. Michael Jordan didn't win his first championship till year 7 or something like that. But in the world that we're in now, especially in New York, if Daniel Jones gets any time, any more growth time, it's going to continue to get ugly, I think, publicly as a perception for him. But maybe Daboll can turn him into Josh Allen. Hey.
I mean, that'll be big. That'll be a big task. But Luck was, he's one of those rare. That's a rare find. He was different. It didn't matter who was on offense, who was blocking for him, who he was handing the ball off to. You had a chance to go out there and win every Sunday. He was special, man. He did that from his rookie year. And then every year, you saw him add things on and get better. He took a step in the playoffs every year, and then obviously he started getting banged up and couldn't keep him out there and staying healthy. But Luck is different. And you see a lot of Trevor Lawrence is another player who's kind of been put in that class, the Peyton Manning, the Andrew Lucks. But it's tough. It's tough. Every position in the NFL is a dependent position, including the quarterback. You got to have good people in the front office. You got to have good coordinators calling plays. You got to bring in talent. You got to have a good defense that can stop somebody and get you the ball back. So it's a lot of things that are at play, and it's rare that you find a guy like, Andrew Luck or Cam Newton on the top of the draft that can really turn things around.
How about a good building, too? I think you need a good building. I think you need it to win in the NFL, don't you? Because everybody has players. It's like, how do you consistently win? I think you need, everything. The culture is not just the locker room. The culture, I think, is the entire building. Do you agree with that?
I agree with that for sure. I mean, you got to we spend more time with each other than we do our families throughout that stretch. Once you check in for training camp, everything is built around football from there on until February. And so you got to like those guys that you're spending all those hours with. And if you like the guys you're playing next to, you play harder for each other. You trust them more. It's a lot that goes into playing, obviously the game of football. And you can see, I feel like you can see good cultures from a mile away.
Yep.
Like the Ravens, for instance, is a great culture. The Bills be a great coach, regardless of what's going on outside of the building or what's been said about who. You can tell those guys got each other's back from the top down. And culture also is about communication. How streamlined is that communication from the top down? That's why the Patriots dominated for so long, because the message was never changed from, it was Kraft, then you got Bill, and then Bill makes sure the same message got from the top down to everyone. So that's very, very important. Obviously, everyone is talented. Everyone has talented coaches, talented players, draft, free agency. Everybody has all those same things, but the culture is the difference a lot of times.
Hey, transparency is such a good way to build trust, especially in the modern world. A little vulnerability, a little, hey, this is what we're thinking, this is why we're doing it. I think that's why a lot of the younger coaches and younger GMs seem to be having a little quicker success with the modern day athlete. I enjoy watching businesses piece together what they think is going to be the right mixture, though. Yeah. And then, like you said, from a mile away, I think you could spot a bad decision maker from a mile away too. It's like, oh, somebody's making fucking bad decisions over there. This little decision led to this decision, and once it starts seeping in, it's over. And then you get the coach start kicking the kicker.
That's right.
Lawsuits.
I was going to ask you guys.
You got to be able to empower other people too, man. Like good leaders and decision makers. That doesn't mean you're the smartest guy in the room. Like you shouldn't be you shouldn't even feel like you're the smartest person in the room when it comes to every decision. Somebody knows marketing, somebody knows sales, somebody knows this, somebody knows that, and you got to be willing to listen to those people, empower those people, and that goes with your players as well. Sometimes you may come in with a game plan, and if freaking Jordan Poyer comes in and say, "Hey, coach, this ain't this. We should do something completely different this week because of X, Y, Z." That's a conversation you have as opposed to saying, "Nah, we're going to do it this way because of boom, boom, boom." So it's a lot that goes into those things, man.
You should definitely empower people to make their decisions, and if they know the deal. But if numerous decisions they have made is not great, also take that into account.
Yep.
I think a good leader has to do that. Like there are some people in this office I will go directly to on a piece of information, and I know they're the right person to ask because maybe in the past I've asked other people and haven't got the answer that is the right one. So it's like if I have a tech issue, I might have used to go to Connor. Hey, Connor, what do you think? And Connor would give me a straight-faced answer, and it would be 100% wrong, but he would step right in the batter's box and take a massive hack. Always. Well, I think if you just connect this to this and this to this, that's how it works, at least. I just Googled it. It says that's it. And then that's wrong like 3-4 times straight, and you're like, okay, so I'm going straight to Zito every fucking time. Hey, Zito, why is this happening? And Zito's like, let me figure it out. I'm like, thank you, Zito, because Connor just put us in a little bit of a rut. Now, that did not happen 3 to 4 times because I'm not that big of a stooge.
Sure.
But I think that is a real thing that has to happen, and it happens in NFL buildings all the time. And even the smallest decisions, clothes, practice schedules, where you're going to travel, when you're going to travel, how you're going to travel, food. Like, there's just so much that goes into a season. I don't know if it gets talked about how vast it is and how many people have to fucking really do their job well for your team to succeed. In some of those buildings, I don't think they put enough respect on it all either, and they're going to suck forever.